Hello, everybody. Jake, your resident content cowboy here. Yeehaw. And I'm joined by my buddy, Crashy. Hi, Crashy.
Hello.
How are you, dude?
I'm doing very, very well.
I appreciate you hopping on with me, being my friend for the day. We're going to clear some of the missions that you can only clear with friends. And at the same time, I'm going to try to become even better friends with you.
Yeah, that's what you were... yeah. Here we are.
I'm excited. I'm excited for this. You know, actually, I think from playing Unite and meeting a bunch of people, I actually feel like I am friend. I don't know if we're friends, but I'm closest to you out of everyone in the Unite community, and I feel very friendly with you.
Yeah, friends is a good word.
I wouldn't mind saying it. I mean, if you want to say it, I'll say it.
Listen, I'm not usually the type for labels, but there's just something about your mustache. It just really gives off that friendly vibe.
Thanks, man. I was wearing it and I thought, nobody's gonna like it. Then you liked it, and I thought, well, I can't get rid of it now. Crashy, I'm gonna ask you some questions. This is a question to ask, sort of one of your good friends. That's what this is listed at on this site.
Mm-hmm.
Or you know what? I'll start with new friend questions. So let's see. What's your favorite childhood memory, Crashy?
Ooh, my favorite childhood memory.
Yeah, or any. Maybe not traumatic. I said any, but maybe not traumatic memory.
I'll stick away from traumatic memories.
But yeah, something that sticks out is like, oh, that was really nice.
Oh man, I wanna think of like a really good childhood memory now.
Yeah.
Favorite childhood memory. I have a lot of good memories with my like mom or sister or something. So I don't know, maybe like I'll take an easy one for the sake of time. We took a trip to Florida to go to like Universal Studios, and so we went with like my aunt, my mom, my dad, my sister, and I think my stepdad at the time. And it was just a nice time. You know, I was young. I think me and my aunt went to the theater that was in like the Universal Studios, and we saw the release of like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2.
Oh, nice.
So it was like I have some like nostalgia with like that movie, and then now like the new Spider-Man movie coming out, which is kind of like tied to that movie a little bit. Like, so there's some old nostalgia that I thought about recently when I saw that movie. So good memory.
Yeah, that is nice. How old do you think you were there?
Oh, maybe like I want to say maybe like 15. I should probably look it up. I could see what year that movie came out. I don't know. Yeah,
interesting. I always wonder, you know, because I don't have a ton of memories being very, very young, you know, because I know we went to Disney when I was really little, but I honestly don't remember it at all. Not that it's a bad trip or anything, because I don't remember it as an adult, but I just think, that one didn't get seared into the brain really at all. I feel like maybe this is just me too, but man, I don't remember enough at all in my life. It takes me a little while to think back to something and go, oh yeah, I guess I did do that at one point. Ooh, me and this dude just double pumpkined each other. It was like pumpkin for pumpkin.
Yeah, I'm having like a brawl down here.
But yeah, for whatever reason, I have a hard time like remembering tons of stuff in my life. I don't know if that's, you know, just evidence that maybe I'm not real. Do you ever think that you could be a clone and the real you think you're the real you, but you're not the real you? Have you ever thought that?
I feel like because of just how genuinely narcissistic I am, there's like no way, right? Like, no, absolutely not. Like in fact, you all might just be clones of humanity. I'm just the real humanity, you know?
Do you ever think that you're in a simulation?
I'm in a simulation right now. I'm playing Pokémon Unite.
Simulation for how much can Greedent tilt you? That's the simulation.
Yeah, oh gosh. How much can ranked or Greedent tilt me? That's a good one.
Oh
this
man.
Is true.
I'm gonna be honest. I get the idea behind simulation theory. I just don't believe it. I don't. I get it, but also no. It's there's that philosopher. I don't remember who it is, and I'm way out of my depth even trying to talk about a philosopher. But someone who kind of posits like, hey, this could all be a dream. This could all be, you know, like a dog's dream, basically. We don't know what our reality is. But at the same time, yeah, we do. I feel like I get that thought, and then I also think, yeah, but we know what the reality is.
Yeah, I feel like even if the reality isn't real, isn't it just like however you perceive it anyways, I suppose?
I think that's true about a lot of things, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Like if you think your boss hates you, even if they don't, well now they kind of do. You know? Like
Yeah.
they don't, but in your reality they do.
Exactly.
I try to think about stuff like that sometimes, you know? I try to think about what I'm putting out onto other people, you know? I don't know if
That's an interesting way of looking at it, especially being like, I don't know, I've never been a huge fan of the word influencer, but like being like an influencer, like I think it's important to have like a good message or try to or something along those lines.
yeah.
So yeah, think about stuff like that.
Yeah, I try to not take things so personally, I guess. I think about that too.
That's a tough one.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
I find it to be tough because sometimes you'll look at something and you'll think, well, why didn't I get that opportunity? Or why doesn't this person want to talk to me? Or blah, blah, blah. And I try to not actually take it personally at all. I just try to be like, yeah, I have no idea what's going on here. I don't know the situation.
It's a good way of looking at it.
I think so. But I don't know. I also could just be lying to myself, being like, that's what I do. You know, I really don't take things personally. It's not a big deal to me. But the whole time I'm like, but why? Why don't they like me, Crashy?
I've definitely done that. I've been a victim of that as well.
Crashy, do you prefer the city or the country?
Probably the city, yeah.
You're a city boy.
I've never had to think about it before, but I feel like it's definitely got to be city.
I feel like up until recently, I would have said city. I think I still am thinking city. I can't be like too much of a country boy. I mean, I live in Los Angeles. But at the same time, having everything from city life taken away from me, I'm kind of like, well, I guess I could live far away from things. I've done it for a while now, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been like that where you are, but it just feels
I'm
like
mostly city life. But I've been in the country, and I just feel like I would be bored. Like, I just think I might be bored if I wasn't like around things.
Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. For sure. I guess I never really thought that I wouldn't be in a city. And now all of a sudden I'm like, hey, maybe not. Hey, we won. Look at that.
I was not expecting to win.
I thought we were going to lose that one. I was playing super wild. Ooh, Crashy.
Me.
What's a book that has most impacted your life?
Ooh, what's a book that's most impacted my life? Oh, man. These are hard questions.
Well, yeah, they can be kind of tough, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what is a book that has most impacted my life.
Mm-hmm.
So, guess now would be a good time to say I don't read much, but I have read books.
I'm with you. I feel like you and I are in the same boat with this, where I have read books, but I'm not an avid reader. I don't, go through a book a week or something like that.
Yeah, my roommate's an English teacher, and he loves to read, so he's always reading books, telling me about cool books and stuff, but I never really got into reading myself. So I'm trying to think if there's something that's really like a nice standout here. What is a book that has impacted my life?
I'll also let you, if you want to, move this to a piece of media or even, go into like a quote or something like that, because I don't think it has to be a book to be like, I watched this and it really changed my perspective on something.
Yeah, fair enough. I definitely feel like I could probably find a quote if I could think about it hard enough as well.
I'm trying to think of what I would say to this. Like,
that's a hard one.
It is tough. Like, what is a book that I feel like has really, I remember reading a book by Kurt Vonnegut. I think it's Breakfast of Champions. And for whatever reason, the ending, this is a bit of a spoiler, but it's a book. And I'm not really spoiling much, but the ending talked about sort of being young and that going away. And I read this when I was pretty young, but I remember crying when I was reading it. So I felt like that that ending of that book impacted me. I hope I'm talking about the right Vonnegut book, but just the idea that we're not going to be young for very long, and that's something that's going to get taken away from you.
Yeah, I mean that's a nice sentiment. I really wish I had something to share. I feel like I would need more time because that's hard. It's really hard for me to think of something that I feel like I don't know, because a lot of things that have like impacted my life mostly have really come from gaming, and like, so I don't really have like a book or a quote or anything. It's more so like for me, I think if I kind of pull out abstractly out of the question and say what is something that's impacted my life a lot, as opposed to just like being a book or a certain form of text, it would probably be like little gaming moments I've had, you know, traveling to events or seeing like the inception of esports kind of happen. Big moments, you know, in history online where like people went from like just making YouTube videos for nothing to being like YouTubers that were like, you know, signing with like MCNs and networks and stuff. Like I've seen so much like happen in like the online world, and I feel like a lot of that's impacted my life because like ever since I was a kid I just wanted to do stuff like this. Really,
that's pretty cool. Yeah, tell me, I know we've talked a little bit about you kind of being around with early esports stuff. What game was it? What were you around for?
So I played Gears of War on Xbox 360, and
God,
Gears of
I
War
love Gears.
is currently,
Such a good game.
It's such a good game. It's so unique, and the cover combat system, it's like, it's just great. And I played on Xbox 360, and they've made, I want to say outside of Gears Tactics, which is like an XCOM kind of game, they've made, it's on Gears 5, and they made Judgment. So they've made like in total like 6 or 7 Gears games in total. And I don't really play them anymore these days because I'm just not a huge fan of like the direction they went with it. But yeah, I played Gears 1, 2, 3 competitively. I did casting for it. I would travel to events. I coached a competitive team for a while. Like I've done a lot of stuff with the younger days of competitive gaming with like MLG stuff.
Wow, that's really cool. I didn't know you were that deep into it, especially a game like Gears. I loved Gears.
Oh, yeah.
I was a big Gears fan. I met I didn't meet one of my good friends through it, but a buddy of mine at work, who is now one of my best friends, kind of knew that I knew my way around a controller. I worked at Best Buy, and he was like, "You got to check out this game, Gears," and we ended up playing so much Gears of War together. So that's a big game for me.
Yeah, one of my high school buddies, I was buying an Xbox. Actually, no, I bought an Xbox, and my mom was like, you know, you can buy an Xbox, but like you have to buy it yourself, right? And I was like, okay. So I did a bunch of chores. I'm like, you know, 13, 14. I do a bunch of chores, and I buy my Xbox, but I didn't have enough money to buy a game. So I was literally bought an Xbox, and I was playing demos on it from like the Xbox Live Store. And I was talking to friends like, well, hey, you know, I don't have any more money because I just bought the game. Like, what should I buy? And I got like a couple game recommendations, and one of them was Gears. So I bought Gears, and I even remember the map that I played on first because I played multiplayer mostly. Like the first map I ever played on was Escalation from Gears, and it's like a really one-sided map where like one team spawns on high ground and one team spawns on low ground. So it's like really like a terribly like balanced map, but it's like I'll never forget that for whatever reason.
I don't know why I remember this map, but for some reason, I think this might have been Gears 2, was the helipad map. There was like a map with like multiple helipads, and I remember throwing grenades into them on King of the Hill. I don't remember if that was 1 or 2 at this point. But
It was probably 2 because Gears 1 had 2 game modes, and then they added a third game mode that kind of acted like King of the Hill. But it was maybe it was Gears 1 because it could have been trying to think of the name of the map. Fuel Depot had a helipad with like a big helicopter on it.
I think that's sounding about right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was either Fuel Depot or it was Raven Down, because Raven Down was like the map with the crashed helicopter in the middle of it.
Right. It's interesting how I mean, of course it's whatever you bond over, right? But it's interesting how so many people I met in my life I met through gaming. You know,
yeah.
Like having that shared interest is pretty big. And I guess if I was, you know, more into sports or something, like it would have been like, yeah, we met through football or something like that. But yeah, for me, it was like, oh yeah, I met all the people I knew in high school, basically near the end of high school. I met them all through playing Halo. Everyone. Through just playing one video game. It's pretty amazing. And I know a lot of people have that story as well, especially people who met you know, like a lot of people online where they're like, yeah, I met all my friends through WoW or something like that. It's really amazing that that's been such a big thing in my life.
Yeah, it is, and that's why, like, I don't know. I always tell people this, and it's kind of like I don't know, it's an interesting way of putting it, but like the real world to me, a lot of the time, I feel like it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me, like the way things operate. But like gaming was always like really consistent, and like I knew I could get what I was looking for out of it. And then even more so, to go like a step further, I knew that I would find people that had such a similar shared interest that like I would have like that level of like companionship, you know what I mean? Like I can always find a comrade when it comes to gaming, because there's always going to be someone that has that same interest.
Yeah.
But in the real world, it doesn't always feel like that. It lines up that way.
That's very true. That's very, very true. Ooh, Machamp. He's chasing me. Ooh, Mammo's one. We got to get out of here, buddy. Oh, Crashy. I'm going to pull up another one for you.
Okay.
It's going to be about a book that's impacted your life. Let's see. If money didn't matter, what would you do for work?
I mean, so as odd as that is, money doesn't matter to me. Like I'm a very like type of person that like I kind of detest money. The idea of it is just so frustrating, because there's just so many that are the haves and the have-nots. And
I meant to ask if you had any extra just to throw it my way, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that to you earlier, but if you really don't like it, I always could use more.
I hear that. No, so it's I don't know. So I think the reality is that instead of it being about money, like instead of the question being more aimed at money, it's more so like I like to look at the part that's like, what would you do for a job if you could?
Yeah.
And the irony is that like this was always it. Like I remember being 13 and watching people uploading like really terrible montages of Gears online, and I saw that and I thought like, wow, that's so cool, like that looks really fun. So I started doing it straight out of fun, and then it was like, I don't know, I don't even remember the timeline, but not too long later after, where I realized that people really were turning YouTube into like jobs, and they started streaming and doing all this crazy stuff. And ever since I saw that there was something legitimate, I've been trying to convince my mom for years that gaming is a thing, you know, like a real thing.
Yeah.
So it really was always this. Like it was always this.
That's really cool. I mean, I'll be honest. I always wanted to do something with it, and I actually felt like, I mean, I guess, for lack of a better word, just afraid of it. Afraid to fail with it. I think that's always something that's held me back, is the fear of like, well, what if this doesn't go well? Like, what if I put myself out there doing like, oh, I did this gaming thing and nobody cared about it. Like, how would I feel about that? I don't think I fully consciously say that to myself, but I think subconsciously that's where I am with most things like that. I don't know why.
It's pretty interesting you say it that way, because I feel like I don't know, you always hear those stories of like successful people, and I feel like you always hear some story of like they went down to their last dollar and made it. You know what I mean? Like, do you know that sentiment? Like, like, you hear those kinds of stories all the time. And while I don't feel like I'm one of those stories, I pretty much sacrificed my whole life for gaming. Like, I didn't go to like a university for many years, and that's not because I was only doing gaming things, but it's because I wasn't interested in it. Like, I only wanted to do gaming things. I was always doing like videos and things on the side, even, you know, while working. Like I kind of like I really like slowed down the progression of like what would be considered a normal life or like a normal path in life, because I wanted to do gaming things. And, you know, when it's not working out, it feels like that, wow, what have I put myself through kind of feeling, like, why did I do this? But then when it does work out, it does feel like one of those, oh my god, I finally got here kind of moments.
Yeah, well, that must be, Unite must just be like a crazy moment. Obviously, it's been a crazy moment for me. It's been a crazy moment for a lot of like creators who are just like, wow, you know, such a community formed around this game and people are excited about it. So yeah, that must have been so big for you. I know you've told me the story a few times of that was just a beatdown of a match, by the way. You told me the story a few times about how you had no money left. You put your Switch on a credit card, right?
Yeah, I bought my Switch, my first Pro controller, and the capture card on a credit card.
Yeah.
And I just said, like, I knew that, like, you know, $500 is like, that's a lot of money, but I knew that it wasn't going to put me out, right? Like I'd eat smaller for like a couple weeks or something, you know what I mean? Like I knew that it would be okay, but I was like, I have no guarantee, obviously. I mean, making anything, you don't really guarantee, but I just rolled with it and then got here, yeah.
It's really cool. I'm very happy that it worked out for you.
Yeah.
I am. You seem like a really good person. And I'm glad that something you cared so much about, you know, is kind of materializing. That's really cool. Crashy. Ooh, what would you consider your biggest strength? Now this is a job interview, apparently.
Yeah. So I have kind of like a two-part answer because I'm not really sure which one that I think is more accurate, but I would, if I had the opportunity to list two, I would, and I'm gonna take advantage of that, so I'm gonna do it anyway.
Let's do it.
I feel like my biggest strength is like my like compassion or empathy. I just feel like I try really hard to be like a kind person. Now, I want to preface that by saying that I love talking trash in video games, so that's not going away. It's not like an all-encompassing, like I'm all good all the time kind of feeling, but I just, in general, I have like a very... I try to be very compassionate and thoughtful with like a perspective on like other people. Like I always want to make sure that like when I can, I do for others, and I always want to like try to flatten the like, I mean, I guess from my perspective, if I ever become incredibly wealthy, I want to try to flatten that out a little bit and make sure that I'm always giving back. I really look up to people like Dr. Lupo, who, you know, does so much for charity, or Pokimane, who like restricted her donations because she felt uncomfortable like always taking like a lot of money from people when she feels like she doesn't need it, or just basically anybody that's really philanthropic. And I feel like I learned a lot of that from my mother because she's just such a really giving person. So I think just in general, like my perspective on life, that is very people focused and the opposite of what it seems like the world is, which is very profit focused.
Sure.
And I think another strength of mine is just my ability to talk. I don't really know why, but I've been told since I was like a kid that I was like good at talking. I had like a decent vocabulary, or that I had a voice for something. People have been telling me that my whole life. Oh, you have a radio voice, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I think you do. I think you do have a great voice. Looks like Zeraora wants that jungle pretty bad.
He can have it.
You can come lane with me if you want.
I guess I'll slum it in the top lane.
It's gonna be fun. Oh, there's that snapback. See you later.
Yeah, this is starting off real great.
Yeah, I think you do have definitely a voice for it. That's for sure. I also think that's a weird compliment, because I feel like when you hear it, you're kind of like, is that a way to pushing me away from things? I remember I was in high school, and there was like a job fair at our high school, and there was this agency. It was kind of a talent agency or whatever, but they were mainly a modeling agency. And I was just kind of walking around with my friend Gary. My friend Gary was a very good-looking guy, and Gary, we kind of walked by this modeling agency, and they were like, "Oh my gosh!" You know, they were very excited. They were like, "You could be a model," they were saying to Gary. But I was standing next to Gary, and I feel like they felt like they had to say something to me, and they looked at me and they went, "You could be an actor." I'm like, you haven't even spoken to me for a moment, but I recognize that you had to say something in this moment as I'm standing next to a very, very attractive person. So those moments always feel like, is this a compliment, or is this like your way of telling me like, hey, maybe don't put your face on something for a while, buddy?
That's a good story. I definitely know what you mean.
It was great. It was one of those months where I'm like, well, that was, you know, that was unfortunate, but I didn't expect they were going to ask me to be a model. That's for sure. So, yeah,
I, mean,
I definitely
everybody has it like us, you know.
I do think that you do have a great voice, though, and your caster voice is also very good.
Yeah,
you know?
that one.
You're fast.
That one. Yeah, it's weird because like I don't want to say like I forget how fast I can talk, because that's weird. I don't really, but people will timestamp like a video of me casting or something, and then I am reminded, and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that was pretty fast or something. And fast isn't always better, but in general, it definitely helps if you're doing like play by stuff.
Boy, it's no fun to have a mirror lane that's crushing you right now.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that too. That jungle gank was big.
It was
Like
big.
that one jungle gank was a big one.
I don't even think our char here. I don't know what's going on.
I was yeah. This is
Huh.
a tough one, a toughie.
That's a toughie. Hopefully bottom lane's going a lot better. Obviously, we got rocked there in the top lane. That happens, you know, sometimes when you don't get a gank and you're just behind. Because we were behind from first core fish. I kind of dashed away. I didn't get to make it to it. And then that gank put us way behind. But hopefully we can level here and then just win it.
Yeah, we're fine. We're fine.
Crashy, let me see. If you could go back in time and change anything, what would you change? This could be personal, or this could also be, you know, kill Hitler.
Yeah, I would no, I have a pretty easy answer. I would definitely change the dynamic of my last relationship. Like
Oh, yeah?
I would and not to say that I feel like I'm entirely at fault for the end of that relationship or anything, but I definitely would have worked harder to communicate better or force communication or try more or I don't know, just do anything that felt like I don't know, like right, like I guess if you look at anything that's failed in your life, you would have some kind of way of looking back at it and thinking of what you could have done differently, right?
Oh,
I guess
absolutely.
that's just like the general sentiment. Like, you know, I cherish the time that I spent with that person, but I definitely could have done more and could have been better.
Yeah.
But that also helped me become whoever I am today because I definitely recognize that I've grown since then.
Yeah, that's something I think about too, right? Is, you know, some of the bad things that you've been through or the bad things that you've done, the times that you've been cruel or selfish or whatever, you know, I'm just guessing how you were in the relationship. But no, in life, you know, when you're like not nice to somebody and you're like, oh man, I'm not going to do that again as best as I can. I'm going to be better than I was in that moment. You know, something a friend of mine says, that I think is very true is that at every point in someone's life, you've been bullied and you've also been the bully. And I think that's, at least for me, that's very true. And there are times where I think like, oh, why was I like that? You know, why was I mean in that moment? Why wasn't I nicer or something like that? I think that's, yeah, of course, any failed relationship, you think back like, oh, I could have handled that a lot better.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You know what this makes me realize? I do have like a quote or something that I could bring up from earlier, which I think is kind of applicable because I was thinking of what your friend said and it jogged my memory. I read something, I don't remember who said it or where it was from, but I read something that said, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And it like the sentiment is just that like every decision you've made and the person that you are, that like it's not an accident. Like you didn't just happenstance upon this. It's like based on your circumstances, what you've done and what's happened in your life, this is where you're supposed to be. And so it kind of leaves like the responsibility on you to choose where you want to go and who you want to be in the future. So
yeah, I think that's great. I think it's true too. You know, I remember watching something, I don't know if you've ever heard of this comedian. There's this comedian named Paul F. Tompkins. And I remember him doing an interview about something about how he didn't make it until later. Like it took him a long time to kind of figure out what he was doing comedically. And it was simple, but I remember him saying, you get there when you get there. And it kind of stuck with me like, yeah, we're not all on the same path, you know? Like some people have a much harder time just getting out the door than other people, you know? Some people, it takes them a long time to find their voice or find their thing or figure out how they're going to contribute, you know? So, yeah, I definitely feel that, too. You're exactly where you need to be. Ooh, are we going to get taken out by the Zero Aura? No way, right? Okay, good. Good, Venusaur. Good, good, good. Crashy, what's the best gift you've ever received?
oh man, the best gift I've ever received.
Don't say the gift of life, Crashy.
I guess it's not a great sign if I can't think of something partially sentimental that's landed in my lap at some point.
Well, you know, it's interesting because as I ask these, they're just it's a list of questions that I found on a website.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, these will be fun to ask. I don't have an answer for this. I don't know what I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's something that clearly makes sense and is like, oh yeah, that's a clear standout. I don't know. I'm gonna go with a cheesy answer because I feel like if I can't think of some kind of an item, it's probably much more meaningful in that sense. So the cheesy answer I would give is like the pleasure of good company.
Yeah.
And that comes from so many people, yourself included.
Oh, well, yeah, I was hoping that this answer would be me.
Exclusive, yeah.
Somehow.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, this is tough. I'm trying to think of what I would think of as like what an amazing gift that I received. I think this also, it kind of speaks to how easy it is to have things now, and also how little value they actually represent in your life. Is like, I don't care about things that much, you know? Like, I like technology. I like getting like, ooh, a new phone. Like, it's all cool in that, but I really don't care about objects very much for whatever it's worth. It's just kind of like, yeah, that's neat. Why not? But I don't think about some piece of whatever that I got that actually means that much to me. Kind of like you're saying,
Yes,
like people and, you know, moments mean a lot more.
Definitely agree.
My wife always talks about how she'd rather spend money on an experience than, you know, like
Oh,
an item
yeah.
or something like that.
Actually, man, I guess it's not. It's kind of a gift,
I was
but
trying to unite there and I couldn't.
one of my favorite like vacations I ever took was just a trip to Mexico that I just really enjoyed. And even though I did partially pay for it, it was a gift that I got to go with, like I said, good company. But that was an experience over an item for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I guess I can't think of too many items. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I remember getting Maximum Carnage, the video game, for the Super Nintendo. It was a Spider-Man video game, and the case of it was red. And I just remember thinking that it was really, really cool because it was disguised as a bad gift, which was kind of mean. I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you, but they gave me a gift. It was like wrenches or something like that. But inside was actually a video game that I wanted. So I kind of always remember that gift. And it was a really fun game. But yeah, it was just a game, just a thing. Obviously, moments that I get to spend with you, Crashy, or of course my daughter, something like that. I think you probably outpace her a little bit, the moments I spend with you. Yeah, just a little. They're a gift, I think. Let me see. I'm gonna move us into questions for best friends, Crashy. We'll play another game. That was a sloppy game, but you carried very hard.
Questions for close friends for 500.
Okay. Let's see. Have you ever given up on a dream?
Almost.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, almost. Before I started, I mean, not that this is the only time, but it's definitely the most recent. Before I started making Unite videos, I took a month off of making YouTube videos because I just was like, okay, time to face the real world and be a person again. Time to assimilate. I was unemployed for like almost 3 years, so I had just been kind of like coasting by and like doing what I could. So I was incredibly close to giving up on a dream.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you get in those moments and you're like, what is this? You know, this thing that I've been working on, or all this time I've spent with, you know, like what is this? What does this mean?
I used to feel a lot of resentment because I felt like, why does my heart want this? You know, like why can't I let this go simply? Like that one used to kind of hurt a little bit. It's like, why do I want this so badly?
I don't want to only play Greedent, Crashy, but I mean, if no one's going to pick Greedent or something like that, it feels like we're crazy not to play a little something. What is this XX unknown? Do you want Greedent, buddy? Yeah, you know, something I've thought about is how do you know if you're actually good enough for something, you know? It's really hard to know. Like when you're thinking of maybe not doing something anymore, it's like, how do you know if you're actually cut out for it, right? I mean, you've got people in your life and they care about you, and I think because they care about you, they'll probably just tell you like you're great or whatever. I've always wondered that when you have to like size things up, like, oh, this person, their career is really taking off, mine isn't. Am I actually not good enough for this? You know?
I've always heard like when you're good at something, you'll let others know. When you're great at something, they'll let you know. Like
Ooh.
they'll tell you. And
Where was this
so
quote earlier?
I know I'm really pulling them all out of nowhere, but I've heard that a lot, and I've always thought about it because like I do exclude like close friends and family at times whenever thinking about that quote, but it is funny that like when you do get validation for the work that you do, it's like that's great and it's a good way of staying motivated and wanting to continue, but when you can't get the results that feel necessary, you do tend to question yourself. So for years, I mean, I've made literally thousands upon thousands of videos over the last decade plus, and at a certain point you have to imagine that I was just like, okay, I'm just not any good at this. Like it's, if I can't make it work on XYZ game, there's not a there's no chance it's just me being unlucky, right?
Right.
So I don't know. It is hard to try to figure out the how do you know if you're good at something.
Yeah, it is really
Question.
tough. It's really, really tough, especially because I swear, not even in a bad way, but people are supportive, and
Yeah, they are.
even if they're not like I wouldn't say my parents have ever been particularly supportive of anything I've done, but they've also not been very discouraging. They're just kind of like, oh, you're doing that, huh? And even that, no one's gonna tell you like, hey, everyone thinks you're very bad at this. It's not gonna happen. Who wants to have that conversation with a friend? Like, hey, just so you know, nobody likes what you're doing. No one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I don't think, unless someone really asked me, and even then, I'd probably go like, no, it's great. So I think it's really hard to judge your own value, but that's a great way to look at it. Is others will tell you if you're like really great, people go, no, actually, you're great at this. You won't have to ask.
And that's why, like, when it comes from like a very, third party kind of source, it's so great because, you have to take them at their word to say like, hey, if this person that's, in a different country or someone I've never talked to, personally really does say that I'm good at this, then I feel like you have to have a little bit of trust and faith in that. That's what I'm doing right now, right? People say I'm good at this, so I'm just going to keep doing it and see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And then also, I mean, in the bubble of whatever this is, maybe it's like a long-term thing, maybe it's not. I have no idea. I think about that often. Like, how long are people going to be interested in whatever this is? I don't know. Could be a while. Could be not so long. I don't know. But for the moment while you're in it, I feel like you also start to kind of feel like it's working, if that makes sense. You're like, oh, actually, people are responding positively, and I sort of feel like I'm in a flow with it a little, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's definitely the sentiment for me, or like the thought just in general has been like, I'm working really, really hard now, so that way maybe I could slow down in the future. And it's not even like I need to slow down, or it's not even like oh, well, because I know I get comments sometimes, make sure you're not overworking yourself. It's not that. It's like I am truly just in this, like, I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to cement this, because for me, again, like I do live my life with a big focus on like people and how do I think I can help people or like help the world. And for me, it's like if I owe it, it's a moral responsibility for me to give my all at something that I think that I'm good at, because I need to actualize my potential so that way I can do more for others. Like people in this world deserve more out of me than for me to be complacent and to be lazy.
Man, I couldn't agree with you more, specifically about you. I'm doing everything great, but you really, I mean, figure it out, buddy. No, I think you're so right. The way I can best help other people, the way I can best help my family, my daughter, my community, the world at large, is to be the best me possible, whatever that looks like. To, yeah, to put something together that I'm proud of, that, helps. As soon as you kind of can help your own family, like put the oxygen mask on yourself, as they say, then you can help others. I just think, I think that's all really important. I do think about that a lot. Like, how could I be the version of myself that I'd like to, I don't know, read a book about, write about, see a movie about, like, how could I be that person? I think that would be, yeah, that would be great. Let me see. How's your relationships with your parents changed over the years, Crashy?
My relationship with my mother's been always super good. I don't know, lived with her my whole life, my whole childhood. They split when I was really young, so my dad's been kind of like, you know, the weekend dad, or was for a long time. And we have a history of mental illness in our family, and so my dad's got a few of his own demons. And I don't know, somewhere along the way, I found that it was just incredibly difficult to have a relationship with my father, so I kind of chose not to. And I don't know, I'd say like in the last handful of years, I've been like really working to like, you know, not have it be that way, because there's only so much time you get with people in the world, and my dad's in his 60s, so I want to make sure that I've been spending time with him. So I've been kind of like seeing him every week and making sure we go out to dinner, and, you know, just giving a little bit more time. He's a great man, so I'm not, it was never anything like bad. It's just, you know, can be difficult when you know, deal with different illnesses and stuff.
Sure. Yeah. I also think there's something, and I don't know if this might be a me thing, but there's something about being young, and when you're younger, I think you instinctively, you almost have to push away from your family a little bit. It's like there's something in you that's like, I have to go be this thing. I have to go be on my own. At least I felt like that for whatever reason. And now, yeah, I feel a lot closer to my parents actually now than maybe I did when I was 20 or something like that. But, ooh, we got a Unite move from Blastoise. Beautiful Blastoise. Oh, no. Oh, no. Let's see, Crashy. What would you do if someone told you had 6 months to live?
If I had 6 months to live, right this very second, I would plan a trip to Australia.
Oh, really? Is that like a big place for you?
Only as of lately, because two of my close friends that I've met from Unite are both in Australia, and I'm already kind of planning a trip, but it's going to be a while because of like COVID restrictions and just saving up money to go on a big trip like that.
Right.
But I would try to expedite that if I could, and for the sake of, you know, making sure that the big thing that I have to do, because I only have 6 months to live, I would definitely take my mother, because my mother loves to travel, so I know that she would love to go.
That's awesome. I don't think I've ever been on a trip with my parents. You know, like an adult trip.
Me neither. Yeah, not really.
I've been on
Only
not a
to,
ton
like,
as
Seattle.
a kid, but yeah, just like never been on like a big adult trip. That's interesting. I mean, of course, seeing something that you've never... Have you been there before?
Oh, no. I've rarely been out of the country. I think I've only been to Mexico. Surely I've been somewhere else. I just can't remember.
Yeah. I have not traveled a lot either. So...
I'm trying to remember where I went when I got my passport, because I don't think it was Mexico. I mean, I did have my passport for Mexico, but I don't remember. Yeah.
All right.
So mostly Mexico for me, and then in the States.
I'm coming. Just trying to... Figured out maybe I could get to 14, but I'm too far behind.
Oh, they are all in the mid here. Oh, this is a great ult spot.
You get it?
Oh, yeah. I love Pikachu in the current patch.
Pikachu, I swear, man, winner, chicken dinner.
The big winner
Big
of the
winner.
patch for sure.
Where is that mime? Get out of here.
Oh, it took us a little bit to kill this. This might be a big flip. Nope. Easy flip.
Easy. The game's a lot easier when you're talking about things that are important, Crashy. That's what we're learning.
I believe it.
Oh, leave me alone, Talonflame. I just want to score on your goal. Will you please leave me alone, buddy? Let's see. What's something I don't know about you, Crashy? Maybe something a lot of people don't know about you. Of course, you don't need to say anything that you don't want to.
What's something that a lot of people don't know about me? Well, so that's I feel like it's going to be a hard one to answer, because I tell a lot about myself on the internet.
Yeah.
I would say that I don't know. This may be the majority though, because I really only talk about myself like any kind of deeply, like in in streams, not really in videos. So, you know, I'm sure the majority of the people that follow me don't really know. But in general, for someone that interacts with so many people on a day-to-day basis, and for somebody that has people kind of aimed at my direction, it's odd because I'm an incredibly lonely person.
That is interesting.
So I just feel like I don't know. I live in Houston and I have a bunch of friends, but I don't feel like terribly close with like anyone. So I just kind of feel like I just like live in this place, but like I don't know. Nothing really like sticks for me. I don't know. I don't have any like amazingly close friends that I see or talk to every day outside of people online. So I just feel really like isolated with an isolating job.
It's hard, man. I mean, we don't have the exact same experience or whatever, but especially, you know, having like a family and stuff. I have friends, lots of friends that I haven't seen. I don't know when I'll see them all next. Yeah. And doing this, it is a very isolating thing for sure. So yeah, I really get that. I really get. It's weird because I don't know if you fancy yourself an introvert, extrovert, if that doesn't really apply or whatever. But I've always found that even though I've done things that have been very public, you know, like I've performed live and done comedy and doing this, I also find myself, I think I'm an introvert. I'm just an introvert that really loves praise. So I just really like putting myself out there, but it's not like my natural state, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. So I've always kind of like dabbled with this thought of like, I wonder if some people can just be terribly unlucky in life. Like, I don't really believe it, but like sometimes I think like surely there's been someone in human history that just like really had it rough, right? And like just had like a terrible string of everything that's ever happened to them. And
I bet that is the case.
Absolutely, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, like absolutely. I feel like that's had to have happened. I find myself getting in what feels like really unlucky social situations, like unlucky ending to my relationship. Like I've had unlucky endings to my like certain friendships, or I've had like, I don't know, I've been kind of like betrayed in one way or another. And then I think back on it, I'm like, man, that's really messed up. Like, and then I kind of like stop and think like, I wonder how much wrongdoing someone can like take. Like not to say that I'm at like a breaking point, but like, damn, dude, I've had a lot of messed up stuff happen, and like that's pretty unlucky. And I just keep moving, right? Like it's just like, well, we'll see what happens next. So like when people say like, oh, that thing that you want, or that thing that like that good thing, like it's coming for you, right? Like that it's in your future. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, sure, like we'll see about that, because like it hasn't happened yet. So I don't know. It's funny though, because I mean it's not all doom and gloomy, but like there's certain aspects of social life that feels that way. It's like, I don't know about that. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I do understand what you're saying, especially when, well, again, all this like that we're dealing with right now is like pretty new, but like especially when it's like you go through years of not maybe figuring out what's going on with you, and you see others doing it. Maybe I'm just projecting my own thoughts onto this moment, but yeah, it's weird to think like, oh, is it me? Am I unlucky? Is the situation like, am I in the wrong situation? But that's interesting. I do think that some people can absolutely have just the worst run of luck ever, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Some people live lives where you go, oh, if I had to do that for a day, I don't know how I would have done it. You know? Yeah. You want to run one more?
Sure.
We'll run one more. Let's see. What's some good ones? What are some good ones? How do you like to be comforted when you're sad, Crashy?
Ooh, that is a good one.
It's hard, right? Sometimes I feel like I just want to be left alone.
I feel like I pretend like I want to be left alone, but I never want to be alone. And I feel like I'm a very, like, I don't know, like you like the concept, it's just so funny because I just can't think of a better way of putting it, but like the idea of like having like a love language, like connecting with someone based on how they receive like affection or communication, like having to really understand someone and how they operate. I feel like if I did have like a love language, it's like it is touch. I'm a very like touchy kind of person. I feel like hugs are really nice. So I don't know, maybe if I just like if I was being consoled over something and like had someone physically there that I felt like was like literally there for me, it's probably the better way. Because I often feel like when people say just nice things, it's just like, hey, I never believe it or can't really feel the gravity of that nice thing that someone's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Feels hard to believe what they're saying.
Ooh, I might not play Greedent. I'm
I
gonna play Sylveon. You're gonna jungle your slow bro.
I wasn't. I was just like gonna lock the jungle and then pick a different character, but I'll give it to the Absol player.
All right. Yeah, we can lane it. This would be a fun lane actually.
Yeah.
This could be a really good lane. Yeah, that's it. I mean, man, going through these questions, I'm reading them and I just think, man, I don't know. I don't know what my answer would be. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty tough.
That's true. I mean, physical touch is extremely important, you know. Sometimes my wife will just, you know, be like, I need a hug, you know.
Yeah.
I get it.
There's evolution in all this, right? Like there were things that humans needed and need through evolution, and I think like, you know, being a part of a tribe and you know, like having like your people and you know, the companionship of others, and like, you know, I'm pretty sure touch is in there somewhere.
I mean, we're very, very social animals, you know.
Yeah.
I'm wading into a territory I don't know enough about, with like biological science and
Exactly.
stuff,
Yeah,
but
me
like
neither.
we're clearly you know, they say people live a lot longer if they have social connections still, you know.
Yeah.
I guess like when people get older and they become very, very isolated and alone, rather than living in a community of, you know, like kind of an old folks community. They do better a lot of the time if it's a very social community. It's just people live longer having that connection, I guess. It gives you a lot. There's a lot to it, obviously. Oh no. Oh no. Squirtle. What are you gonna go, Scald, or you're a Surf boy?
I'm a surfing boy.
I love Surf. It's so
I'm
good.
also playing 3 damage items, so
Are you really?
yeah, I only ever play Slowbro with damage items. I don't know why. It's just so much more fun.
Do you want this, right? This will get you to 4, yeah?
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And be a surfing boy.
Let's see. I asked you about your book. All right, Crashy got Surf. Okay, Crashy, how can I be an even better friend to you?
Stay a channel membership for a really long time.
Yeah, just continue to support you monetarily. That's what I figured the answer was going to be. Yeah. Ooh.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like you've been kind of killing it. We always have these nice little ideas. This one was unique. I actually had no idea what we were doing today either. You did not really tell me.
That's true. I didn't tell you. No. I just did a video on my channel the other day where I was asking a lot of questions like this to a person. Because, you know, they always make you do those quests with friends or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought, hey, maybe I'll take this time to become better friends with whoever I'm, you know,
That's unique.
doing it
That's
with.
cool. No, I don't know. I mean, like, being a better friend to me is like, I actually do think like truly being a friend with someone like requires getting to know them. So this is ironically probably like the cross between our two worlds, where like you're actually getting to know me better and you're making content with me. It's like, how could you be a better friend than this?
Yeah, we really did it.
You kind of nailed it. Yeah.
Man, I felt like I was nailing it for sure. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, we can take this really quick. All right.
Got some bees.
Nope, I didn't steal it. Got that one though. Okay. Ooh.
Big surf damage.
Ooh, they're in trouble. Yes, Crashy! The king!
Secret. I've been itching to pull out Slowbro jungle in a tournament.
Slowbro
tell
jungle in
anybody.
a tournament?
Yeah, I think I might do it soon.
You're gonna be laughed off the scene, Crashy.
You know, they'll be laughing their way down to the losers bracket. Ha ha ha.
Ah, ah, ah. So right now, I think if I crash this goal, and
Would
then
be nice.
and then we take Rotom, this will be positive for the team.
That is a positive experience. You've been watching too many Crashy videos.
Well, look, while we're up here, I mean, we got to do something with it, right?
That we do. That we do.
He tried to pick you up, but he couldn't.
I know. I timed the frames on it just because I didn't want him to grab me.
Ooh.
Oh wait, what? Where did my eject button go? I was trying to go forward.
Uh-oh.
That's a. Oh, there's a lot of people up here. They're not happy with our activity.
Ah! Run, run, run! Oh, Crashy, run! Wow, we actually got out of that, too.
I can't believe that.
How did we get out of that? I thought I was KO'd for sure. I was kind of just walking like I was KO'd. I'm not even going to lie. Oh, Absol's here
That's
now?
not.
Right, let's fight
That's not the Cinderace. That's a
Aw.
Blastoise ult waiting to happen.
I know it is. I'm just trying to chase him down if I can. I feel like maybe he already burnt it. Maybe he burnt it at...
No, I think he just evolved.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was a War Turtle when he first pushed our tower.
I thought that ult was coming. Wow.
Yeah, I really was expecting the turn and ult play from the
Alright.
Blasty.
Seemed to work pretty good for us top lane there. Not
Yeah.
too bad. I actually was thinking about this earlier. I have kind of a video coming out about it soon, but I almost think for solo queue and stuff, the Rotom and Dreadnought shift have made the game much, not much worse, but more confusing.
It's more confusing because I actually think that there's more strategy in the game, which means that it's based on circumstance and not a general outline.
Exactly.
Like I think the last versions of this game, like the last patches, were very solved. Like it's like you go Dreadnought, you
Yes.
get Dreadnought, you win game. Like it, and I don't feel like the game operates that way at all. And yeah, if I'm playing duo or trio queue, we usually focus Rotom now.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of your stuff on it.
Yeah,
That's really
just-
interesting.
It's incredibly powerful what you could potentially do with it, even if it doesn't fully go the way you were hoping.
I think the hardest part about it is you've got people, like you were saying before it was solved, now it's not solved. So you've actually got people making a lot of different decisions for a lot of reasons that are good or possibly bad, given the circumstance. And because of that, you have people rotate, not rotate, farm, not farm, dread, Rotom. You have all these different decisions being made, and it's hard to argue that one's better than the other. And in a way, in solo queue, it's kind of chaotic right now. Because I think you'll just have 4 people go top at one point. You'll completely lose Dread. They might even lose Rotom. Your team will be under-leveled, and all of a sudden, you can't even fully argue with them that was a horrible strategy. You just have to go, well, I guess that's what they want to do.
I've been trying to recommend people to play the majority of their team. Like if you're the bot lane, if you say you're jungle and you rotate bot lane and your teammates don't rotate, go top with them. Like, because at this point, like, it's not, I think that the value between Rotom and Dreadnought has actually closed substantially to the point where it's about getting something now, not necessarily getting X or Y, you know? So I think for solo queue strategy, like, and I'm not sure, I haven't really dealt this as an absolute, but it may just be better to do whatever the majority of your team is doing, regardless of what the circumstances are, because it'll probably lead to much more tangible value. Like, you'll actually just get something out of it as opposed to, like, losing Dreadnought, then losing Rotom.
Yeah, I think you're right. That actually makes a ton of sense. And maybe that's just where my head should be at with it, is, like, just do what the team's doing, even if you don't like that strategy, because at least you got something. Yeah.
You wouldn't by chance
What's that?
I was going to say, I wonder if I can by chance kill this in 10 seconds.
Oh, you think? By yourself?
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm going to try.
Me and
it's really like 8
Absol-
seconds because Rotom has that 2-second drop zone.
I don't think we can get this. We can try. We're really close.
I can't get any there.
No, we missed it. we missed it. All right. Heading to center here. Hey, Blastoise. Hey, guys. They're all in the bush.
They might be hard flipping it already. The Cinders. Yeah, the Cinder's going for it. I have to pinch in. Oh.
Ooh, boy. Oh, no. No.
Dangerous. Greedent's doing Greedent things, kind of.
Ugh, it didn't work out, unfortunately. The Greedent things didn't work out.
We're relying on our Absol a little bit here. Wait, they're not flipping it yet. Wait, no, the Cinder's got it half. Okay. She had to kill a Corphish.
Oh, dang. It's lower than I thought. Well.
Okay. So they get it, but that's okay. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to ult. You're going to go bottom, and I'm going to ult the Cinderace.
Okay. I want to take this Machamp really quick.
Wait, no, maybe we can kill it. Okay, so we killed the Cinderace.
All right. Well, I got Machamp. So
okay, so that means we each need to push.
Yeah, let's go there.
We've got some time.
Hello.
This is a free pick right here, kinda, or I just bypass it because
it's coming back. You got points? No.
Do, but I don't have a score shield, and there's double tank here essentially because
right,
Blissey's
let's see if we can get this Greedent in there. Maybe Greedent can score. We got one.
We have our Absol showing up. The Machamp's gonna land. I want to try to save my Surf for whenever he lands. Just use it now. Oh, there it was.
We don't got enough time to score, I don't think.
I don't believe so. It was close.
Did we still win that? We did, right? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
No, yeah, we have both goals up. We won. Right?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. That was a weird one, Crashy.
That was weird. I guess we just stopped enough of their zap turn-ins.
Because
I Silver ulted the Cinder, so the Cinder wasn't making it.
Yeah, you got Cinder. I got Machamp in the middle there, and really only I think Blissey turned in. So cool, dude.
Yeah.
Crashy, it's been good hanging out with you, man.
Yes, sir. I feel like we're closest of friends.
We're the closest of friends now. Anything you want to say before we go?
Nah, just thanks for doing what you do and bringing me along with you every now and then. I know we have some things that we want to do, and so that's going to be fun to plan out, and just always just keeping it moving. It's fun times.
Yeah, thanks for being here, dude. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for listening. As Crashy always says, be kind to each other. Money means nothing. Give it to Jake. All right. Yep. I love you all. Goodbye. Mwah.